What do you think Latinos need to do to change our condition in front of the camera?
Uh, I think they have to leave the notion behind that uh, that they have to be something they're not. You know, when I got to this town, everybody wanted to be James Dean. Yeah, you know, or Marlon Brando, because that they wanted to emulate. They thought that was, you have to be yourself.
No, knowing what you know now, reverse engineering, how would you start that today? Like, how would you create a new nosotros?
You know, if I was 20 years younger and had the uh, the gumption to do something like that, it can work. The problem is, and I'm strong. I'm a strong individual, so I had to appoint those people in those positions. The sad part about it is that those people decided, you're strong, but I'm going to be stronger. You're not going to have a say anymore. And at that point, that's when it all fell apart. But you have to get people who are not only leaders, but followers. And if you can't follow,
Servant
then,
leaders.
yeah, then you're going to destroy something that's not working, that can work. Because now you're placing your direction from a directive that was already set. And that's where good business, when you get a good business head on and you delegate and you get people that you know are going to make your idea better, and not that you have the you know everything, but there's a way to do that. You come to that person who started it and you say, look, I think this, we can go in this direction faster, better. But they didn't do that. They just took it. um, Today it can still work, uh, but the focus has to be not on the benefit of the individual, but on the collective.
Right.
Because you have all these writers over here complaining that they have no opportunity. You have these producers over here saying, I can't get in the door. You have these directors saying, look at all these shows, and they're not calling me to direct. So you need somebody who can set up the machine that says, okay, we're going to push these people a little harder, but you've got to trust each other to stand by and allow that ideological concept to move
Mm-hmm.
forward. And but nobody's willing to do that because I'm an individual. I don't need you. I can go
Well,
and do
just
the thing.
finding. I think it's just finding that team that is about the vision
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
about I mean, I
It
think
is,
that's
ultimately, it is the individual because that's who we're fighting for.
right. But I mean, if you look at Cesar Chavez, it
Yes,
was never about Caesar. It
right,
was always about the farmers. It
right,
was always about giving them better. He rose because he was about the people. Martin Luther King rose because he was about the people. It was never, that to me is a great leader, is someone who is steady with the mission, steady with the vision, and can keep it going, and making sure that the people that are working with him
hmm,
is mindful of, it's about the vision. It's not about you. You will get yours, but this is what it's about.
right,
And we move as a collective to get there. And it's that mission statement to
right.
keep honoring the mission statement to get to where you have to go.
And I had that.
Yeah, and
So,
something, as you were saying, something I was reminded about, Shonda Rhimes. I had seen
Shonda, yeah.
an interview she did with Oprah, and I use it now all the time, vetting the right people,
That's tough.
because we think we know people, but
Yes.
what she does, or what she said she did, was they call everybody to find out about that person before they bring that person in. They're not looking for the most talented, they're looking for team players. Because they believe that out of that the talent will shine. But they don't want a diva to come in and knock the production out. And I think that's in my head, it's like, okay, that's how you move forward. So before I bring people in to vet them, look in their social media, see what kind of stuff they're talking about, because what they put in their social media today is really what they represent.
Yes,
what they represent.
Yes.
So I'm sorry that they were not nice people.
I call them bad apples,
But I think
unfortunately.
I think within that there's incredible information that comes forward. It's like we fail forward. If we're paying attention, we just fail forward. It's like, okay, how do you make the machine better? Okay, now we know it's that Edison. I didn't fail. I just learned 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. It is that.
But see, you're the first person who's asked me. Most people don't care.
Oh, I care. I want to know. I think that's how we grow.
Most people don't care, and they just and since they don't know, they fall into the same trap over and over again. And
I think with collaboration as artists, we haven't been taught how to collaborate properly. We haven't been taught that even though you and I are friends, we may not be able to work together. So we have to know, okay, we're going to make this brown table. And we have to be clear on the color of the table first. We have to sign an agreement so that we can stay there. As opposed to, I'll work with you, we work together, and then down the line something happens and money now may be involved. So I don't want you, Richard, because you didn't really help me. I want that. And
correct.
And I think as artists, we don't do that. We don't sign the paper first, make our mission statement so that we're clear. This is what we're doing. We've decided we're doing a brown table, and this is the brown that's going on the table.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, because basically it's also job description. When you bring people in, you've got to let them know what the parameters of their job description is, because then they start going all over the place, and you have it on record saying, this is what you do, this is what we're expecting. And even though they're not getting a salary or anything like that, they have to understand that that's the wall. Unfortunately, that's where Trump put it, but anyway, but that's where we find ourselves in this industry. I think we have to stop complaining. We have to stop and expecting them to give us the opportunity. People. Yeah, because it's their industry, it's not ours. Right. We have to create our own industry. I've said this all along. You're doing it. You've created your own industry. You've created your niche, your way in the world.
Well, because what I learned early on was that it wasn't my industry. That I wasn't being asked to play certain things. I had to fight for what I did get to do, but understanding that I can't tell you how to operate in your house.
Right.
I can't. No matter how much yelling I do, it's your house. So if I want to do stuff, I have to do it. I can't rely on you, and I can't wait for... I didn't come out here to sit by the phone and wait for somebody to call me. That was... from day one. I was going to studios, dropping off my pictures and resumes. I was, I was meeting the producers. I was writing notes to the producers, because I realized early on that the casting director did not have the power. Right. They were doing a job that was assigned to them. that it was the producers. And as I've gotten older and gotten into more rooms, what I've learned is that really in our business, that where the power starts is in those stockholder meetings at those studios. That's where it is. It's not even about the producers. The stockholders dictate what kind of projects they want to see, and then the heads of the studios start turning. Okay, you want more women. You want more women in action adventure films. Let's get more women, because by the time we get the scripts, it's already almost a done deal. But if you can take your money and invest in stocks in the studios and go to those stockholder meetings, that's the power. That's the power. Then you not, it's not their game, it's your game. It's you're really making an impact. When I got out here in the 70s, in the late 70s, and there were all these pushes, God bless Jerry Velasco and Dolores Cantu and all those people who really helped us a lot get into those rooms. From then to today, it's a whole different ball game. If you want to be a part of it, you have to own stock at the table. You can't come in as an outsider telling people what to do. You have to have a voice in the stockholder meeting. So I learned that by going to some stockholder meetings at Warner Brothers and seeing how they changed the landscape. They dictated. And when they spoke, those stockholders, old white people, the next year, that stuff had been implemented when they came to the next stockholder meeting.
Well, I agree and disagree. I agree that stockholders are very important, and they do wield a lot of power based on the business. But the change comes from revenue. It's what film made the money. Why did it make the money? Black Panther right now is at the top of its game. It's the most, it grossed more money than any other film in history. Mm-hmm. And not because it was black.
Because it made the money.
Because it made the money, but it made the money because it was a movie for everybody. See, we keep forgetting.
Right. It was universal.
Exactly. You sat there and you wanted to be that
Same
hero.
Same thing with Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. But now they're at the table because now they want to repeat that. This is one thing about this industry. Oh, that works? Oh, we got to get ours. We got to get ours going now.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. The next thing you know, there's going to be
right. But as stockholders, you can come in and say, we want to cater to, and I agree, it is about revenue. If we are stockholders in those meetings, we can affect change in a greater way. We can say, this is what you want to bring in there.
But remember, in a stockholders meeting, you've got more than one stockholder. They have to vote.
No. But
unless there is, you can prove. Let's say Latinos. Our
absolutely.
family.
You're
if
bringing
they can't
in,
prove
you're
that
bringing in
that there's an audience that's going to buy that film, that they're going to. I don't care what the stockholders say. They're not going to say, well, we want Lydia there because we like Lydia. The producers are going to go, but Lydia's not bringing any money. What movie did she make? What is she doing? The stockholders go, I don't care. We want her in there. They may acquiesce and say, okay, well, let's try Lydia. But it's really about what are you bringing to that table?
Absolutely.
And it's the
Absolutely.
money. It is the money.
Absolutely. But if you can steer, I'm not disputing you. I'm just saying.
You're fighting me. I can tell right now.
I'm
getting despondent. I can see it.
I've seen these stockholders ask for the most mundane things, and it got done.
I'm sure.
It got done. They and nobody knew about whether it was going to make money or not, but they spoke. There was nobody protesting in those stock. They just said, this is what we want. And there was, it was change, whereas we worked too hard to try to get crumbs from the table.
Yes.
I think that's really my point. It's like, if we really want to be part of the game, how we affect it is to come as a stockholder. That's my, and not to beg for crumbs at the table, to say we want diversity, we want inclusion, and they still don't know how that really works and what to really do with us. And there hasn't been any voices, leadership voices, who were cohesive, that were not threatening them, but saying, here's a plan, here's an action plan for you to follow. It's going to work. It will work. It's like, well, right now the big thing is there's a TV show on Netflix that they want. If we lose that TV show, we're going off. There won't be anything for us. And it's like, why do we think that way? Why don't we have a lot of TV shows? Why don't we can come at it from a whole bunch of different angles, but why is that TV show the only show in history? You know what I'm saying?
No, that again is part of our desperate attempt to hold on to something, because it's the only thing. We don't see the future. We don't see around us. We're not thinking about our own audience. We're only thinking about, they have that show, we've got to focus on then keeping that show, instead of us thinking, well, what is this producer doing? What is that writer doing? What is that director doing? We have to have a slew of concepts ready to go.
Right, have a slate that we could present.
But it also, how many of us are approaching people who have venture capital? How many of us are actually sitting down with Netflix, with Hulu, with YouTube? That's where we're lacking, and we need that kind of opportunity to talk among ourselves and say, okay, how can we help each other? We're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're afraid of each other because I don't want you to make it, it's mine.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it.
Right.
What? I got the better project.
Right.
They're going to give me $10 million to do this. Oh, no, not her. No, please. My project's better. And that's the infighting that goes on, that avarice element within us. Instead of saying, in fact, I did that once. Some guy came to me, he says he had $75,000. And I was working on projects, but I didn't have one ready that I could use $75,000. So there was another guy that I knew, I was in Nosotros, and I said, well, give him the money. And that guy came in, did his movie, and then turns out that the money was actually from the mafia, and I didn't know that. So.
But it got put to good use.
He did his movie, though.
There you go. It got put to good use.
And I saw the video in a 99-cent store once, and I'm going, holy moly. And people I knew were in it and so forth. But the fact is, he got it made.
Yes.
He sat down, he and his
Yes.
wife, and they put it together, boom, 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 because he was ready. I wasn't ready.
Yes,
But-
and that's the other thing.
But I could
We
have stopped
to
it.
be ready.
Yeah, but I could have just said, no, it's mine. I want
Yes.
to keep that money and not make
Yes.
anything and hold back. And you can't do that. You have to come together as a family. And when there's trust, then you trust that that person is going to move forward because they're ready, that they're going to take you with them.
Well, I think the word family has to get taken out of the equation, because families are dysfunctional sometimes, and sometimes families
Yes,
will
I know.
cut your throat.
Yes, that's true.
But a consortium of people that come together and make things happen. A collective. We come together, we make things happen, we respect each other, and we come in the name of business. How do we move this business? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about business. We're talking about making money. How do you make money? How do you merge
I think
all of it together?
the only way you can do that is if you have the purse strings, because then people respect you. Because then all of a sudden that consortium says, oh, that's the person that can say yay
Right.
or nay. Green light this project.
Right. And
You
if
know.
we have certain people who can bring money to the table, that they're continually infusing the organization with money, then it can, then you have something substantial that you
Right,
can
right.
you can do. What do you think Latinos need to do to change our condition in front of the camera?
I think they have to leave the notion behind that that they have to be something they're not. You know, when I got to this town, everybody wanted to be James Dean. Yeah, or Marlon Brando, because that they wanted to emulate. They thought that was, you have to be yourself. And we are so rich in culture, in language, that when you project that will make the difference. That makes the difference as to who you are and how you're being perceived. And on the whole, many Latinos lose that because they want to be something they're not.
And how can Latinos who are not in the business support Latinos who are in the business?
That's very good. Híjole, man. That's the bing bing. What it comes to is that you're right. The audience has a responsibility. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, they're great action heroes and so forth. But, they have to start looking at who's out there that looks like them, who's out there that is telling their story. And not to just say, oh, I want more Latinos. I want to, no. If you want that, then support those people. Go see plays in your community. Watch the movies. And after you watch the movies, send the studio a little note. Hey, I really like that guy. That guy is terrific, this and that and so forth. But, don't say things that are negative right now. We don't need it. We need positive
Good Yelp
reinforcement.
reports. Good Yelp reports.
Yeah, Yelp for acting.
That's
yes,
right. That's right. And blasting social media, lovely support. Go out there and.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize. You can say it in your head, oh, I like that guy. But when you put it in writing, a studio, a network, that constitutes 10,000 letters.
Yes.
Each one of those. So please.
And posts do too.
Yes, exactly.
Online
exactly.
posting
Yes,
that makes a difference. And the studio does pay attention. That's how things go viral.
If you're watching this and you watch me, tell Lydia you loved it and you want to see me back because that's important. She'll call me back and I'll make some more money. Huh? Well, not money. More coffee. That's it. Yes.